this is John Kohler with OKRaw.com. Today I have a very special treat for you. What we're going to do today is make a blended salad with the leftovers, with raw food leftovers. Many nights I'll make a nice, large, gigantic, enormous salad, and I eat as much as I can. But sometimes I don't finish, and that's alright. You know, we don't want to live by that motto like that your parents probably told you. You gotta clean up your plate. No, don't do that. It's not good to overeat raw foods or any foods for that matter. You want to eat until you're happy, until you taste until your salad or whatever you're eating tastes a little bit different. And it's like, man, when I first started eating, it tasted real good, but after I'm like 3/4 of the way done, it just doesn't taste good to me. Maybe you should listen to your body and just stop when you get that taste change, or you just think you're full and you don't want any more. Just put the rest away and save it. No harm, no foul in that. So what I'm going to do today is use my leftovers, because I did have a salad last night and I couldn't eat it all. So the rest of it went in a jar. I saved it overnight and now I have it today. And what am I going to do with it today? Well, I could be eating a day-old salad, or I could make a blended salad with my raw food leftovers. So whether you have a raw lasagna or a raw pasta or a raw salad or whatever, it can always just be thrown in the blender and blended up to make a blended salad. And that's what I'm going to do today for you guys. So to start off with any blended salad, the success to a blended salad is the liquid components. After all, blenders are for blending liquids, not necessarily things that aren't so liquid. So like, you couldn't use carrots as a blended salad base, but you could use carrot juice. What I'm going to use today are some tomatoes. I got the red and yellow tomatoes, and also red and yellow bell pepper. So it's real simple to do this. First thing we're going to do, we're just going to go ahead and take our tomatoes and slice them up a little bit. You don't got to slice them up too much, just enough so that the blender blade will catch them and turn this into a liquid. And we're going to just put all these guys in there. Now if you don't want to use something like tomatoes, some other things that work well are things like bell peppers, cucumbers, even zucchini works fairly well. It's fairly watery. Other things I have used before include also juices, so carrot juice, celery juice. You know, if the vegetable is too hard to put in and doesn't make it a lot of nice water in there, then I would juice them and then put the juice in there first. Alright, so that'll do it. That's the last tomato. After we put the tomatoes in, then we're going to do the peppers. So we're going to put the peppers in there, and I don't want to put the seeds in there. So the easy way to cut off the pepper is just take the pepper and you're just going to slice down the sides, and you're literally slicing the sides off. Now when you slice the sides off, in general, if you slice them off right, you won't get too many seeds in there. And then you'll be left with this, which in this case then we'll chop off the bottom. We got all those pieces of pepper. Now we're just going to slice them up into smaller pieces. And put those in the blender also. Now always when filling the blender, you want to put all the liquid items first, and then the things that are more solid, up top. Now once you get down to this piece, you could literally just, I like to tear these pieces off over the sink so that all these seeds don't go everywhere. Alright, so we got the few little pieces off the top of the pepper. That's going to go in there too. Next we're going to do that yellow pepper. Same way, once again, if you just go straight down, we'll see how that works so you don't get any kind of seeds or anything in there, and that could go right into the blender. Then we're just going to cut down straight again, and once again we're not going to get any seeds. That could go in there, and once again go straight down. Looks like there's some seeds in this, so we're just going to go ahead and pull those out. Now you could put the seeds into the Vitamix if you'd like. I just prefer not to put pepper seeds in there. And then we'll take the last slice here. And you can see we have the last piece here with no seeds. When picking any fruit, including tomatoes and the peppers, which are technically a fruit because they contain seeds, you want to get the nice, rich, darkest color fruit as possible. The pigments in the fruit that make it the nice, rich, dark color, I was just actually admiring the nice, almost yellow orange deep color in there compared to like, just the yellow part. Those are the pigments that provide us with antioxidants that are really good and healthy for us. Let's see here. So once you do that, you'll have the bottom, and the bottom here of the pepper basically doesn't have any seeds in it. And we could just go ahead and break this up into some pieces and put that in the blender as well. Now lastly, we have this top piece, and you can see all the seeds on the top piece. Generally, I'll take this over the sink to do it like I do with the red pepper, but if you're careful enough, you could just carefully pull off all the different pieces from the top, and yeah, you will get a couple seeds falling all over the place, but hey, that's alright. So here are the final pieces from the top of the pepper. We're going to go ahead and put that in there. The next thing that's very important when you're making a blended salad with your leftovers is to now, after you put in all the liquids, to blend it up and turn it into a liquid first before adding everything else. So let's go ahead and blend that up. Put the top on and crank this thing on. As you can see, the Vitamix easily transformed all the pieces and whole pieces of fruit into a nice liquid consistency. Now I like and recommend the Vitamix Turbo Blend VS as my favorite blender for somebody into the raw and living foods lifestyle. It's definitely the most versatile blender. It has the tamper, it has a long warranty, and they're more dependable than the other high power blenders on the market from what I've seen. So once you have this into a liquid, now you're ready to add more things into your blended salad. So if you wanted to, you could add more greens. Sometimes I like to pre-chop the greens. In this case, we're just going to tear them up and put them in there. So you could add a small amount of greens like I'm adding today, or you could add like a big massive bunch of greens. Once you got that added in there, then we're going to go ahead and add the leftovers. That smells really good. So I do have a recipe when I prepared this. It's actually collard greens, kimchi, and avocado. So it's just a real simple, delicious salad to make. And then we're just going to go ahead and scoop all the leftovers out into the drink. And you want to try to make sure that the leftovers aren't just like sitting on the top, but they kind of get mixed in to the mixture. Alright, that'll do it. That's all the leftovers in the Blender Craft. I always like licking the spoon. Alright, let's go ahead and put that top on and let's blend it up. Always when I use a blender, especially the high power blender, what I like to do to start it up is I always like to switch it on variable speed and on the lowest setting and then turn it on. In this way it doesn't make the blender chug up and kick stuff up and hit the lid to the blender. Once it's going a little bit, I'll slowly turn it up and let everything get sucked down in there. And slowly but surely I'll crank it up all the way to high. There it is, there's high. Now we're blending in the blender, and the goal when blending is just get everything ground up, but don't blend it too long. I think that'll do it. But whatever you do when blending, you don't want to blend your mixture too long or start your blender and walk away. Every blending cycle, as it's spinning, it's sucking more air into the blender, which is oxidizing your food, which in my opinion is not optimal. You always want to try to use the blender the shortest amount of time possible to get the consistency that you desire, and do not overrun your blender. Here is the blended salad. Nice and blended, looks really good. Let me go ahead and give the taste test. That's definitely good. Sometimes I like to add like coconut water to the blended salad if I don't have enough liquids to blend into. Like tonight I use just the peppers and the tomatoes, which are very high in water content. And I always encourage you to eat a raw foods diet that's high in water content. After all, we are 70 to 75% water, and if we're not eating foods with that high water content, it's dehydrating us, and that can cause some problems. Nonetheless, hope you've enjoyed this episode learning how to use your raw food leftovers to make a blended salad. Once again, my name is John Kohler with OKRaw.com. We'll see you next time, and remember, keep eating your fresh fruits and vegetables. They're the best.